So, I am a complete amateur at this, never pulled an engine before, but I'm going to be pulling this engine in this Ford F150 I've had forever to replace some freeze plugs and do some other maintenance on it. This should be interesting. So my friend Steve said that I should mark these hood mount, or the hood bolts, their location when I take off the hood so that I know where it goes back on. But, so I don't have to realign it. But I was thinking, why don't I just take off these bolts and then I don't have to worry about aligning it at all, and I won't have this big mess of spring and everything in my way. So anyway, that's what I'm going to try to do. Okay, well I found out why you don't want to take these bolts out. I started and I found out that there's something behind this head here. It isn't mounted straight into the metal. There's something behind it that it is screwing to, and there's no way to access that unless maybe take off the wheel well. But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to do what my friend Steve said, which I should have just listened to in the first place, and scribe around those so that I know where they go when I put the hood back on, and we'll go from there. Alright, so the hood is off, and you can see well, without the backlighting, you can see that there's some scribe marks there, but you can't really see it with this light. So, just trust me, there's scribe marks there where the bolts used to be. Next step is I'm going to disconnect the radiator. So I'm going to disconnect that hose, and there's a few hoses coming out of the bottom there, and pipes and things. I'm going to mark each one of those so I know exactly where it goes back in, and we'll see what it looks like when I got it out. So the radiator's out, which is not something that you'd have to do if you didn't have a problem with the radiator. I've got a leak in it, as you can see by that little rusty area there. It's a little pinhole leak, so I'm going to get that repaired by a radiator shop. And so that's gone. This is the air conditioner booster radiator there. One thing I forgot to mention is make sure that you put all of your bolts into nicely marked containers. Like this one says, I wrote on there hood and radiator, so I know exactly where the screws are later when I want to put it back together. As I recall, my friend Steve said, don't disconnect the lines from the air conditioner because they could be under high pressure, even though I think mine's empty because I think it's got a leak. Anyway, I'm going to remove the air conditioner by removing those two bolts and then see if there's any other bolts holding it on, but I can't tell from this angle right now. And hopefully I can get the belt off of it and everything. Okay, so to loosen the belt for the air conditioner, this is a pulley. First I loosened up this bolt a little bit, and then I loosened up this one, and then I had to go and unscrew this side as well until this came loose and I could push it down. Then the belt was able to come off the idler there and off the air conditioner. So next step is to remove the air conditioner. Okay, so the air conditioner's out. On mine there were 3 bolts, one here, here, and here, plus these 2 on the top. Now I would recommend taking out the bottom ones first, that way you're not it's just there's less strain on the bottom ones when you're trying to take them off, because they're hanging off the top then if you leave the top ones on until the end. Okay, so now I'm wondering how I'm going to get it to clear the engine, because with the hoses on it I can only move it over so far, but I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Next I'm going to remove the hoses that go to the blower, and as you see I marked them. Now it says behind fan toward the front, now it says behind fan toward the rear. Now I'm going to mark and disconnect the alternator, and this filter thingy right here. Okay, now I'm under the truck. That's the front of the truck right there. That's the front, the four-wheel drive crankshaft or whatever you call it. And so I'm going to disconnect the exhaust from there, and then there's a similar one on the opposite side. So I'm going to take those two off right now. So it's this bolt and that bolt. Well, that's way harder than it looks to remove the exhaust. See that shiny wrench down there? That's hooked up to one of the exhaust bolts. I got one of them off, but the other one does not want to come off, and there's not a whole lot of room to work with down there. I've been working on it from the bottom, and there's no way for me to get my arm way down in there from the top, so I'm going to go and get the radiator repaired, let my arms rest a bit, I'll come back and try it again. Alrighty, well, while waiting to get some advice from a friend, which I won't get till tomorrow, on how to get the transmission disconnected, I am going to replace, I don't know if you can see this linkage right here. The bushings are missing, and I got some for the other end too, where it connects over there. So I'm going to take that apart. That's right there. Looks like there's a pin that's bent here that I've got to unbend and remove, and then I can get that out and put the bushings in. So I've been told that having the right tools makes the job a lot easier, but I'm a big cheapskate. But I worked on these bolts here for a couple hours on this one bolt, and I tried using a torch to loosen it up. I tried using oil. I tried a socket set and a crescent wrench. Anyway, I didn't all that stuff didn't work. But I went out to Sears and got this Craftsman set. It was on sale, and check it out. So I just put this steel bar in here, and voila. That's all there is to it. Wish I would have done that about 2 hours ago. So I don't know if this is called an anti-sway bar or whatever it's called, but it came out from under here. That's the thing I was working on before. And so I cleaned it up, and I put in new bushings and the rubber stuff, the gaskets. I don't know what you call those things. And doesn't it look pretty? So now I'm going to reinstall it back on the truck with my new wrenches.